Consultants, freelancers, coaches, practitioners, and artists. Let me ask you something. Do you simply feel overwhelmed? I need to tell you that if you do, it could not be more normal. You are constantly and inadvertently competing amongst so many other individuals at all times in the online space. This work is not easy, and nor is it easy to do this work without playing the game. Today, I want to talk very candidly, very raw, about the realities and the down and dirty truth about this online world, this online space that we are working in and living in. As much as I see a lot of YouTube creators relating to this concept, I believe that it goes much deeper. There is much more to this ever-growing era of online opportunity, and I want to provide the space to talk about it. So welcome back to Essence Presents YouTube channel. This is our Solopreneur Pep Talks. This is kind of like the podcast series that I have on this channel. So if you want to tap into these episodes to pretty much relate to a fellow solopreneur about the struggles, the challenges, the obstacles, but also the beauty and the freedom that comes with pursuing this online solopreneur path as a career, you are in the right place. By the end of this episode, my hope is that you feel way more empowered to continue your dream with utmost confidence. This is not a conversation that I am just going to be blabbing on about kind of the challenges that we experience, although they are very real and I will definitely touch on them. This episode is meant to empower your next move, empower you to keep moving forward. This conversation is also going to revolve around the 3 major learnings that I've experienced when it comes to the online space. And as you can tell from the title, we are going to be talking more specifically about keeping up and standing out as a small business creator in this online space. I've actually been running 2 businesses for about 3 years now, and pretty much all in the online space, whether it's 90% or 80%. So I do feel that I have some tidbits to share with you that could definitely help you along your journey. So to give you a little bit more of kind of a background on me, I actually started my career in marketing in the experiential marketing realm. And most people will say, okay, what is that? And basically I was producing nationwide tours and events for brands like Ben & Jerry's and Stonyfield Organic, doing these kind of stunt-like pop-up events, but I was basically operations for those kinds of events. So dealing a lot with logistics, planning, communicating with all sorts of people, vendors, and of course traveling to produce events. And it was very, very much the PR side of marketing in terms of the kind of impact we were making. So that is like my, I guess, foundation. Now, when 2020 happened, I 100% shifted into the online space, the digital marketing space, because I lost my job. So I completely shifted into the online space. I started working part-time as a social media manager, and since pretty much 2020, I have been a part-time social media manager, content specialist, content creator. I've had many kind of names as I went through kind of a freelance approach to most of that in the beginning, and now I work full-time as a community manager, social media manager. And what I do specifically in Essence Presents is I provide media production and content marketing services to wellness businesses, creative solopreneurs, and craft artisans. So previously, as I said, I was always pretty much 80 to 90% remote in my 2 businesses that I started in 2020. But to give you a little bit more of clarity, as a media producer, content marketer, the content marketing piece didn't actually come in until last year when I went completely remote, just for a temporary amount of time. But when I was doing the media production piece, I was obviously working one-on-one with people doing brand photography, videography, and that was really my start when it comes to the beginnings of Essence. So I'm somewhat new to being completely remote. And obviously this is temporary. I am not currently living in the place that I am going to be living, if that makes any sense, without kind of getting too specific, but I'm completely remote now. So what I do is product photography shoots as well as videography as it pertains to remote. And I do everything else, content marketing wise, graphic design wise, just completely remote as well. So when it comes to the other business, everything is remote as well. So what I've learned in this time of being completely in the online space has a lot to do with my learnings in community and what it means to have community. It is definitely not what I thought, for sure, and I'm just being completely open, honest, candid about that. Not what I thought it would be, and it's not as easy as I thought it would be. So I want to just get into these major learnings now so we can talk a bit more about keeping up and standing out as a solopreneur in the online space. So my first major learning is having a social media presence does not mean that you have community. Community building takes genuine effort for engagement. Okay, so this has been a tough one, guys. Social media has not been easy for me. And it's kind of wild to say that because I have seen success as a social media manager, managing other client accounts, mostly businesses, not individuals with a personal brand, mostly businesses that have a clear offering, a clear service or product. And it's wild because I've done things like get 10,000 views on a reel in 1 week for clients. But when it comes to my own pages, it's a completely different ball field. I think a big reason for this is because when you're managing accounts, you are coming at it from a completely objective view and defining a brand voice, defining the specific identity that you have and how all that you do kind of falls in line in these boundaries and in these limits. And it's almost out of mind, out of sight for not exceeding those limits or not going outside of the box in specific ways because it doesn't align with your mission, not creativity wise. But I think this is a huge element to why it's a lot harder for me to manage my own social platforms, because it is not objective, it is subjective. And as much as people say, you know, you have to separate yourself from your business to really see the growth, and I believe that that's so true, it's not easy. And I've found that just during this time, it's been a struggle for me. It's been a struggle to stay consistent, to have a consistent content strategy that aligns with a mission. And I think it also goes with saying that you want to always just align with the goal, the end game. And right now, since I am temporarily remote due to my living situation, there's a lot that I feel I'm not currently doing because it's not in perfect alignment with my goal. And therefore, it's kind of like working with what I have right now. And that can be confusing. And I think also another really big point about this is when you are your own boss and you are writing the captions, you're doing the graphics, you are doing the research, you're doing the website design. Like, I have a full email marketing suite. I have redesigned my website completely. I do graphic design, copywriting, social media reel editing, video editing, YouTube. I manage it. I manage Pinterest. I manage the social media platforms. And then I also do the work. You know, like at the end of the day, I am a photographer and videographer who also incorporates media production, what I like to call media production, which is like the music element and content marketing, graphic design, the copywriting. I do it all. And I think when you are in that space where you are really doing everything, it is so easy to compare yourself to others and others' platforms who seem like they have it all together. And that's the part about the connection to people that feels almost like, wow, they're way more ahead of me. Wow, I have a lot more to go and I have a lot more to prove, it almost feels like. And that's just a tough reality. And I guess what I've found within all of this reality is that it is really demotivating and frustrating when you are putting in a lot of effort and not seeing the result and really not seeing the clear return on your time and effort. But this is not where the story should end. I want you to think about the last time you had a genuine encounter with somebody online. If you're anything like me, an introvert, this is probably far and few between. Now, I want you to think about the platform you were using when you had this genuine connection or when you had most of these genuine connections. So typically when we have these genuine connections, we are actually on the platforms where our ideal audience, right? Because we wouldn't have this genuine connection with people if it wasn't because they are relating to our content and relating to what our message is. So typically we have these communications and conversations with people when we are utilizing the platforms where they naturally hang out. And this is what I want you to lean into if you also are relating to the idea of community being a little bit hard to develop and build as an online small business, online solopreneur. So for me, Instagram has really lost a spark for me, and I'm not saying that it will never be what it once was for me, but it has definitely lost its kind of spark for me in terms of where I'm finding these connections. But what I am doing is finding genuine connections on YouTube. And this is my takeaway for you, is lean into these platforms that you are actually resonating with people in. You know, I'm not going to say that I have the most clear business offering yet, and I'm in the middle of a lot of really exciting projects that I'm eventually going to be talking about, but I'm possibly going to be shifting the whole kind of offer suite that I have, and therefore I could be coming off unclear. And so I'm not bashing like an audience who might just be confused about what I offer. I think I'm working through a lot of things, and it's really cool to just be recording this and to be just open about it, because I love that I'm in this growth stage and I'm in this era of like, I'm defining what I really want my business to be. And I think this is a beautiful thing, and I think that not enough people talk about it in this candid way where it's like, yeah, you could be a business owner and offering people freelance work, and you've been doing this for like 3 years. Maybe it's part-time, maybe it's not as much time as you would eventually like it to be, but it's still something that is working. You just might have a different vision for what you want it to be right now. And with that comes the lack of kind of connection with people, because they don't know exactly what you do at all times, because you are still on the journey of defining what it's going to be. That's where I'm at. And I just want to connect with you if you are watching this and you really resonate with where I'm coming from, kind of the struggles that we all go through in this sense. Leave a comment for me. I would love to connect with you. And I'm getting more used to this connection in an online space. As I've said, it's always been not completely online. So I'm still getting used to that reality, but I think it's really important to lean into the platforms that you are resonating with people in most, whether that's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest. These are the spaces that you should definitely focus on, and kind of not focus on the ones that aren't really doing anything for you. Obviously, this is not easy when you feel kind of a connection and you feel like you're less relevant for not posting on Instagram. I am definitely one of those people that feel like Instagram is just like that place that you have to be posting. And I'm not saying that I won't. I'm not saying that this is how I'm going to feel forever. It's just that I'm not making those really deep connections there, and I'm actually making it on the places that to me matter more, because I am putting in more effort to do these longer form videos, and I'm just so happy that people are resonating with the message. So lean into the platforms that don't steal your joy and make you feel like you are making genuine connection with people, because that is obviously where people want to see you most. My second major learning with the online space, keeping up and standing out, is the more specific you can get about what you do and who you serve in particular, the better. If you are a health and wellness coach, what specific transformation do you provide? Is it a transformation through nutrition, exercise, or mental health practices? And if you are a health and wellness coach who specifically focuses on nutrition, who specifically do you serve and why? Do you serve moms because you're a mom and you want their lives to feel easier when it comes to nutrition? Or do you serve women who are over 50 who start to lack the body producing minerals needed for optimum health, and you want to help them combat that? So what I'm doing right now, is where your superpower lies in 2024. Everyone can serve everyone. Absolutely. There is no law or rule that says that you cannot. Think about all the people that you've even seen in the online space who serve everyone. I'm gonna guess that it's close to nobody. And the reason being is because they're not even reaching you, because they're not specific enough about who they're serving and why. So this is what I've learned. In a sea of creators, you need to try your best to stand out, either through your unique experience or the unique segment of people that you serve. And obviously there are people and businesses that they play on both, right? Actually, I'm kind of an example of that, as Brilliant Pit was my first business. It is a crafter wellness business that allowed me to literally have essence, because I realized I was just creating content in Brilliant Pit because it's what I knew best. I didn't know the skills for herbalism yet, how I wanted to do like craft prints and things like that. I didn't know any of that stuff, so I started to just create content because it's what I knew best. And so both of them now are basically my experience developing Brilliant Pit has now led me to be somebody who serves crafters and wellness businesses in essence. And the reason for that is because I was the customer. I was the client who Essence would be serving now. So I know from my unique experience what I needed in that moment. And therefore now I can serve specifically those people, which is taking into account the two things I said here. But you don't need both. You definitely don't need both. If you want to be serving specifically women over 50 because they lack the minerals that you know that a healthy body needs, do that. You don't need the specific unique experience to do that. All you need to do is research and get really skilled at that and showcase how your skills are actually helping people in that area. And I think at the end of the day, our unique experience is always going to play a role in who we serve. And I think it makes the most sense. It's actually the lowest hanging fruit way to define who you serve. So think about it this way. If you're like, Liz, I don't know who I serve. Like, I've had this really awesome experience working with sustainable brands as an agency, account coordinator person. I have a lot of experience dealing with like sustainable brands, right? Like sustainable design, sustainable architecture, and I've learned XYZ through doing so. Whether it's that you now frame your business to serve sustainable businesses and brands, sustainable design and architecture, whether it's that or whether it's the experience you got out of that. Maybe you learned how to do a specific spreadsheet formula due to the way that sustainable businesses and sustainable design and architecture businesses operate. Maybe you've come up with this beautiful little layout that your other team members were like, wow, this is perfect. This is exactly what we need to serve specifically this kind of people, this type of person. These are just specific examples of how this could help you define way more specifically who you serve. If you're still struggling to figure this out, think about the moments in your career, in your life, where you felt like you were making a difference. Whether it was making a difference on how you feel about yourself or making a difference on somebody else's life and their own experience. Have you ever thought to yourself, wow, I can't believe I'm actually doing this? That is another indicator of a moment where that is your own unique experience, and you can absolutely utilize those moments to figure out how you're going to serve somebody more specifically. My last little piece of advice here is do not be scared to get super specific about who you serve, even if it means you are going to shut some people out and shy away from serving other people. Obviously, we don't want to be so specific that nobody or barely anybody can relate, but getting about 2 layers down into what you do and who you serve is the healthiest level to getting very specific and niche, I guess, about what you do and who you serve. So I guess to use me as an example, we can get into the first layer of saying I'm a photographer, and then I'm a photographer who serves wellness businesses, crafters, and creatives, right? So that's about 2 layers down. So it's like not only solopreneurs, but it's creative solopreneurs. That's artists, freelancers who work in the creative fields, designers, things like that. So as you can see, if you get about 2 layers down, you're not shutting out so many people where like nobody can relate, but you're getting specific about a very niche subsection of people that do exist within these categories. Okay, so my last major learning for you when it comes to keeping up and standing out in the online space is the more you can systemize your processes, the more confident you will feel keeping up and standing out in your business. So this is that thing that if you get it right, you will be unbreakable. So it's a fact. We all started our businesses from a dream, and you may genuinely feel that you can't go wrong as long as you are riding on that passion, that spark of motivation, and that juicy good feeling of following your dream, following your path that you know is for you. So if there is one thing that I've learned, it is that this is not completely true. And I am so sorry to break down that dream, that high horse. But no matter how committed and how passionate you are about something, there are always going to be times where additional support is needed in order for you to keep running your business properly. We will always experience burnout if we continue to just ride on this fiery spark. And trust me, I have been the victim of this. To put it into a kind of metaphor, when we don't pay attention to the balance that we have in our lives, and I mean balance in all respects, like nutrients and exercise and rest, right? We always have to incorporate the rest no matter how productive we are. It's the same concept of like our immune system is going to get weak if we experience an imbalance in any aspect of our life. So we have to set a boundary with ourselves that's basically saying, like, I need to address the business logical side of what I do every so often in a balanced way, the same way that I always am tapping into my creativity and allowing myself to ride off of my inspiration and move towards the things that are really inspiring to me. We need the structure and the systems and the processes to make a business stay alive, no matter how creative we are And no matter how much we think that we can just simply ride off of that creativity for endless amounts of time. So my best advice for this is to develop a system that basically has everything laid out for you in one view that tells you exactly what you need to do to just keep things running. This is totally 100% the logistical side of business. And once you have just this like bird's eye view where nothing is missing, you can see everything in one place, you can see everything going on, it is going to be so much easier for you to get creative because you are going to feel secure. You're going to feel like everything is in process, everything is happening alongside you and your creativity. And that is the best feeling that a solopreneur business owner could have. So I've actually created literally this tool to look only at what has to happen in every area of your business in one view. I've created this tool and I am actually going to do a walkthrough of this tool for our next video. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm going to show you exactly how I set this up for me as a business owner of 2 businesses where I can literally see everything. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it only has to be business. You can incorporate lifestyle things if you want into this tool. So I'm really excited to show you that next week, so stay tuned. But the reason and the motivation to create this tool really comes from this sentiment. Our dreams can be so complex, and it becomes harder and harder to clearly decipher what we can do every day to get closer to our goals. And especially in the beginning, when we just want to start, it's really hard to know what should be happening first and how that should be done, or what processes and systems and tools do you need to master first in order to get to XYZ outcome. So there really is a give and take that needs to take place. You should be able to follow your creative urges and your inspirations, because that is actually what people resonate with most. People resonate with the emotion and the creativity and the raw emotion that lives in our creativity. And when we are following this spark and following our authenticity, people can see that and they know, and that is what they resonate with. We're talking the viral content that we see on Instagram all the time. This is what they're essentially tapping into. So it is so important to maintain that creativity. So when it comes to the give, right? The take is all about like taking in the inspiration, the absorbing of the life experience and creating something beautiful with it. But then it comes in the give, right? We need to balance with the take with the give. And we basically need to give ourselves not only time, patience, and the tools. We need to give ourselves time, patience, and all the tools to make our dreams a reality. And no matter what your business is, I think that this is true for everybody. And I will leave you with also this. You have this vision for yourself, your reality, for a reason. There is no mistake that you have this vision for your life. It is not by mistake. It is for you. And just because it is not a tangible reality yet, does not mean that it is not a reality. Now, think of this in abstract ways, of course, but in our mind does not know, and our brains do not know the difference between a tangible reality and a reality that just lives in our head. So there is a reason that you have this. You have this vision for yourself. And what it actually is going to take is equal parts effort and equal parts faith in order to make this happen. It is your calling and it is your duty to make it happen. So do it. You have everything you need. You just need a little bit of organization. And I promise next week I will share that video for you, and maybe that will make a huge difference on how you organize your day-to-day tasks in order to make your dreams come true. So thank you so much for tuning in to another Solopreneur Pep Talk. My name is Manuell. Please subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this, and if you want just more videos to help you as a solopreneur dealing with content marketing, media production. How do we go about creating content that is authentic and that drives your brand to be the best it can be and in the utmost authentic light as possible. If you want to stay in touch with everything that I do at Essence, what brilliant pit things are happening, definitely sign up for my newsletter below. My monthly newsletter that goes out every 30th of the month. It gives a wrap up of all the shoots going on, all of the blogs that I've posted, as well as some exclusive offers and news updates that I will consistently always be adding. And lastly, we have made it to September, and what that means is that fall is here. And what more excitingly that means is that I am starting my Seasons and Sessions mini shoots as of September 21st. So what you can do is sign up and join Seasons and Sessions. It's a Facebook group. And what will go on over there is sign-ups for these seasonal shoots. And so for autumn, I am going to be doing things remotely, so I am only really serving product-based businesses. So if you're a product-based business, you want some fall, autumn themed mini shoot sessions, definitely sign up for the Facebook group. I'm going to be posting that availability around September 21st. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week.